nothing risque there. One thing happened with Full Metal that had never happened before. As soon as Funimation announced that they had Full Metal, and as soon as they announced the cast, I started getting emails from fans saying, quote, "You better not screw it up."
That's a bit of a rough place to be, I imagine.
Now, imagine having done 30 or 40 shows, and suddenly, for the first time ever, you're involved in something that it has such a fan base. And by the way, let me remind you, up to that point, Funimation was known as the house that DBZ built.
DBZ built, yeah.
They were known for action, right? So as soon as the fan base found out that they had Full Metal Alchemist, they're like, I hope they better not mess it up. Yeah. And as soon as they were sending stuff like that to Funimation immediately. And then as soon as they found out who was in it, they're like, I got a mixture of two different kinds of emails. Mm-hmm. One was, I'm so glad to hear that they cast you because you're a good voice actor and I think you'll do a good job with this.
Right.
And the other one was, you better not screw this up. This is a great show and Ed is a great character, you better not screw it. I'd never gotten an email like that before I'd even recorded.
Right.
I'm getting these emails, I'm like, oh, this is kind of nervous. It made me kind of scared, right?
What did I get myself into?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so we started recording, and as soon as it came out, the fan response was overwhelmingly positive. Right. And then as it continued, I started getting feedback and emails from fans that were like, this helped me through such a difficult time in my life.
Right. I've heard you tell several of those stories.
Yeah, and it blows me away. Yeah. Dude, you couldn't pay me enough to equal the value and the honor that I take away from those kind of things.
Right.
And I get so many of those, and I'm so grateful to be a part of it. There have been a lot of great roles since then and before then.
Right.
But yeah, Ed is always going to have a special place in my heart, and having really taken my voice acting career to the next level.
Right, and that's why I prefaced, it's not to speak bad about any of your work. I enjoy most of your work, but Full Metal Alchemist definitely was a show that a lot of people have marked as being like the show of the last 10 years. It was that show that brought anime to this new level. It brought voice acting forward because, prior to that show, a lot of people were kind of, dubs are bad, blah, blah, blah. But Full Metal Alchemist was one of those shows where people were like, this is good work, and so
yeah.
It's interesting to hear that side of the story.
Well, and the people that made it, the people at Funimation were very committed. They started getting these emails and they're like, okay guys, we got to step up our game here. We've got to make sure that the writing is top notch, the translation, the voice acting, the mixing, everything about this show has to be spot on. And I think they did it.
Yeah,
I think they really, really worked hard. And so you can imagine the pressure
for when
Brotherhood comes out. We never imagined there would be any more Full Metal. Mm-hmm. When we finished the first series and the movie, it's like, all right, that was an amazing experience, but it's over now.
Good run.
And 3 years later, they're making a whole new series. They're like, oh no,
longer
and now we got to do it again. And I was quite. I have to say, I was a bit worried. Because I'm like, okay, everything really worked the first time.
Can lightning strike twice?
Yeah, exactly. What if it's just not as good? What if it's just not? So there was a little bit of trepidation going into it. But as soon as you start recording, you're like, yeah, I remember this guy, and everyone's here again, and this is so fun to get to do it again.
It's like a family reunion.
Exactly. So.
All right, well, I do believe you have other places to be, sir. But I really want to thank you for kind of giving us things about Vic Mignogna that aren't necessarily... just anime related.
Well, it's my pleasure, and I appreciate the questions. Thank you so much for letting me.
I definitely wanted to get another side of kind of the things you do, and with some anime related questions, obviously.
Absolutely.
But the stuff about your music career was really fascinating. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thanks for the questions and the time.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Enjoy the rest of the
Vinny.
convention.